Welcome to the very first episode of the Zoo Channel. I'm here with what? What are you looking at? What are you looking
Just
at?
glad I can look at you now.
No, why?
Because you find a picture.
Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Welcome to the very first episode of the Zoo Channel. My name is Felix Cantu. I am the creator of the channel. You can call me Junior. I'm here with my best bud, Bart. Took a minute.
Yeah. We've been chatting about this for a little
Yeah,
while.
we've been talking about it for a little bit, and it just it took a little bit of time to actually do the first episode. So I apologize. I know I've gotten out there and I've said I'm sorry, guys, and just I can't explain to you how much I'm excited about this, and I'm sorry it took so long. Yeah, we're here, man. Crazy how time flies.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, my name is Junior. A little bit about myself. I'm a first responder. I'm a dad of two beautiful daughters. I'm semi-mature, a little bit. A little bit. I'm still learning a lot. And yeah, I decided to do this this podcast about 2 months ago. And like I said, we're finally here. We're finally being able to get into it. And I figured who else better to do this with than my best friend, a longtime friend. What do we, 10 plus years?
It's got to go 10.
10 plus years, man. Yeah, it's a long time. I was a lot happier prior to meeting him, but whatever. It's another story for another time. Tell me about yourself, man.
Well, I'm Bart. I'm the proud father of two beautiful dogs. And been a first responder also. Junior and I are also in the same unit. So we've known each other. We worked with each other for a bunch. Got to know each other's families. And, being in law enforcement, you get these tight friendships. And that's always good to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody there to fall back on.
And keep you humble.
Yeah.
Tell you when you're having a moment.
Yeah.
Just kind of back you off.
Trauma bond with the trauma that we cause each other.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You got a bottle here. What you got?
Yeah. So we got some Pursuit United. This is their double oak bourbon.
Oh.
And we'll start this off here. Appreciate you having me. So I want to get us a pour.
There we go. Yeah. A little celebratory toast.
Yeah.
To everyone out there and the first episode. Here's some more.
Yeah, it's the future.
Real quick. What's with the shirt?
Oh, this is a U.S. Ryder Cup shirt.
No, I get with that. Yeah, the U.S. Yeah. Why that shirt?
Why not that shirt? You wore that shirt first.
So another little story about me and Bart's relationship is we're in constant competition. I can proudly say that I have never won any bet against him. I'm like 0-5.
I love sporting with you, Junior. It's fun.
I have never. You don't even like sports.
That's right.
You just like the team that goes against anything that I stand for.
I'm on team, not Junior.
Yeah, it's horrible, and I am such a bad gambler when it comes to betting against Bart. So whatever, we'll get to that later. Yeah, man. Glad you're here, and let's kick this show off. Let's get right into it.
Yeah, well, man. So tell everybody, how'd you get this idea? Why are we hanging out? Filming, doing a podcast. What do we got to tell everybody?
So I guess to kind of answer that question, we got to go into my relationship with my late uncle.
Okay.
And kind of how the idea all started there. Me and my uncle, he was prior military, Marine, recon. So he and I, when he came back home, we had always bonded, more trauma bonding,
Yeah.
right? So we did it like he had issues kind of, getting back into normal society or what people would think is normal society. And so a part of that time was he would spend time with people like myself, like you. We'd go out and we'd do stuff and we'd hang out, we'd shoot guns, we'd lift weights, bro stuff, right? Kind of like a decompressor. Well, during that time, we had some very in-depth deep talks, very, positive conversations, and then also some very difficult conversations, because a part of growing is being able to confront any and all challenges,
Sure.
and kind of going from there. So from there, he and I kind of bonded a lot. We talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about people like Jordan Peterson. Are you familiar with him?
I'm not.
He's a public speaker, and he basically goes out and says, "Hey, you know what?" He talks about masculinity and how it's a responsibility, and how um, basically in today's society we lack that. Um, and so he had a lot of good messages. I think messages that men really needed to hear. Kind of like, "Hey, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war." Right? And he really believed these things, and so my uncle and I would have a lot of these conversations around that type of mentality. Um, but we'd also talk about, you know, we wanna be that type of person, but how do you get there? And getting there can be a struggle. Getting to that particular point where you're this provider, you're this protector, you're this, big, strong person, whether it be physically or mentally, you had to go through some sort of pain, growing pains to get there. And that's kind of like a lot of where our deep conversations had started. And it kind of came up, and it's like, man, the question popped in the back of our heads is, are we the only ones who talk about this, or do other guys talk about that? So that's kind of where the podcast idea had started. Um, Kind of exploring, I mean, the internet is a huge place now, right? Like you can have conversations with
Yeah.
all kinds of people from all walks of life, from a young age to, an elderly age.
Like the folks that you talk to on Call of Duty.
Well, yeah, not those kids. You get banned for roasting them. They get their feelings hurt nowadays. But I mean, seriously, that's where it all came from. Is is do you and I just have this conversation, or do other guys have this conversation? Right? You and I had some very difficult conversations,
Yeah, sure.
some very sensitive topics, some personal things, and it's like, okay, what other guys go through that?
Yeah, and you don't have to be in the military or law enforcement to
No,
uh, take part in those conversations.
you could be a freaking cashier at a bank. You could be a stockbroker. You could be a lawyer. Whatever, different walks of life, different careers, and it's not just specifically targeted for, all the military people or law enforcement people or whatever, right? Like I feel like that's something that all men kind of go through at some certain point in their life, where whether it's because of a traumatic event, whether it's because of a difficult time financially, relationship wise, kids, family, you know, mom, dad, whatever. Like there's something that guys go through, and no one really talks about it. So then that was also another conversation that we had, right? Because my uncle was real big into psychology.
Mhm.
He like mind screwing with people all the time just to see how far he would get. Like it was a game at some point, right? Like, hey,
Okay.
what can I get you to do and make it think that this was your idea type
Mhm.
deal. So he was really good about that. But yeah, I mean, that's really where it all came from. And then we started talking about the psychology side of it, and how from an early age, where you as a man, or as a child, a boy, was told simple things that you didn't really realize it's having this huge impact. Hey, walk it off. Hey, rub some dirt in it. Hey, men don't freaking talk about their feelings, whatever, right? Like, so over time, as you get older, you kind of just have these mental barriers where you start applying just something so simple to everything. And then I can't tell you how many times that I've talked to wives, girlfriends, or whatever, and I'm like pitching the podcast idea, and I'm like, oh, it's because guys don't talk. And every single one says the same thing. Y'all don't talk about crap. Y'all won't talk about crap. Y'all just shut down and keep it to yourselves. Right. So that's kind of where everything kind of, we kind of put everything in a pot, and it just kind of, boom, created this. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's run.
Mhm.
Let's run with it. Let's see what happens. Let's see how many people we can actually talk to. And I don't want to say an experiment, but more so of a journey. Like, how many people can I talk to who have different walks of life, but the same issues?
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, we're all living life on the same chunk of rock. So,
Mhm.
I think guys go through a lot of the same issues, regardless of what role they play in life.
Yeah, yeah, and it was one of those questions that was really, because we're naturally, you and I, right? You and I are naturally curious people. So it kind of really just kind of, a little fire started in me. And the more people I started talking to about it, the more different walks of people that I started to reach out to. It's like, all right, cool. Maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe we can talk to more guys. Maybe you have some advice that somebody, I don't know, in a different age group,
Mhm.
younger or older, who are like, hey man, I'm going through that exact same thing. How did he get past it? How did he deal with it? And so it was, I guess, more of a, like a support group type thing, where you're like, all right, cool. How far can we actually get this information to the next person and help them out? And at the same time, let them know, like, hey, bro, you're not alone.
Yeah,
Like, we're all in this together.
yeah,
Seriously. So yeah, it was an idea that was in the back of my mind for a very long time, probably 2 years. And now I just kind of find, I was like, all right, let's put pen to paper. And it started getting some traction. And boom, here we are.
good deal. Well, that sounds great, man.
Yeah. I mean, but honestly, like, how many times do you think that you've gone through something and you're like, or when you met somebody for the first time, what did you think, like, about that person? As far as, like, I wonder how they deal with some of these things. I wonder what he's going through. Or you hear people vent at work, right? And you're like, oh man, I can, whether you vocalize it or not, you're like, I don't know what he's going through.
Sure. Yeah. Like for me, so I don't have kids. So I
What?
hear about folks, deal with kid issues and things like that. I can't relate to that.
Mm,
I don't have that same perspective that everybody else does. So those issues to me don't carry the same weight as a person that's walking that life with kids.
what about dogs?
Dogs, man, I'll go to the end of the earth for them. And you can touch my dogs, it's there's gonna be problems. So
But it's a similar kind of situation,
yeah,
right?
we
You have that
have the
love for a
same.
dog that a father would have for their
Yeah,
child.
don't have the same type of family that a lot of folks have, but we care for them all the same.
Right. Right. But yeah, and again, it's like, you hear these stories, or you hear these problems with kids and that sort of stuff, and so you're able to relate to some degree, when
Yeah,
it
it's
comes
definitely
to,
not apples to apples, but it's the same. You have a puppy at home, you're waking up tired in the morning,
yeah,
or you got to change your schedule around because you got to move stuff
right,
to handle things with the dog.
yeah, until they get to that particular point in their life where they can
But they take care of themselves for a little
self-sufficient, or
bit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and send them off, and
yeah. So it's not a one to one, of course. They're not nearly as expensive, which is probably why I have dogs and not kids. But
tell me about your thoughts, man. Like, what did you think whenever I first came to you with this idea?
I thought it was ambitious. It's good. Guys tend to not want to talk about their problems, and especially in law enforcement, military communities, guys in those professions tend to see things that a lot of civilians will go their whole life without ever seeing.
Right, right,
Um, for military, they're subjected to traumatic incidents in deployment chunks of the time.
yeah,
Cops, while they may not see the same thing that military folks do, cops get repeated exposure to trauma over every day in, day out.
right,
They get exposed to it.
right,
And that stuff has a cumulative effect.
right,
So you got to have an outlet for it. You got to be able to talk. You got to be able to deal with stresses of the job. You have performance expectations at work,
Mhm.
regardless of what industry you're in. And if you have trouble at home, that's one more stress.
Mhm.
And other people that you work with, again, regardless of your profession, depend on you.
yeah,
And I think guys, by and large, have a lot of trouble with making somebody else feel put out or adding a burden to somebody else
Mhm.
to take some of that burden off of them.
Right.
It's hard to make that ask. And so they carry everything on. And what that results in is you bringing your home, your personal life into the work environment, which can affect your performance, which can cause other problems at work, which can add more stresses to your life. And all of a sudden you're in this doom spiral.
Right.
It's hard to get out of.
Right.
So hopefully we can break that cycle and get some of the conversation out there and try and figure stuff out.
You mentioned something, your performance, expectations, the standards that people have or that men have on ourselves, right? But not only are we dealing with that, we also know that people put other standards on ourselves. And when you kind of don't meet those standards and people vocalize it, you feel like a sense of being attacked. It happened to me the other day. You fat shame me a lot, but I'm okay with it.
Because you're fat.
I'm okay with it because you're my friend.
You're one of us.
No, well, I'm not. Anyways, so
It's okay, buddy.
yeah, okay. So the other day, somebody at work had made a comment, and they're like, "You're looking anorexic." Now, a lot of people don't know what's going on right now in my personal life, but I have a lot of moving parts right now, right? Like I am trying to get this house sold. I'm
You
looking.
said you looked anorexic.
That's what you're stuck on. That's the part that you have trouble believing. That's where the stopping
I'm
point is.
confident in your body image that you're not anorexic, sir.
So, anyways, I appreciate that. That's the kindest thing you've ever said to me. Thank you. So, no. Going back, if somebody was like, "Hey, you look anorexic," like, and again, nobody knows a lot of the stresses that are going through my life right now,
Yeah.
right? Because these are things that guys don't talk about. But they're like, "Hey, you look anorexic. Are you okay?" And immediately I was all like, we're body shaming today. Okay, this is what we're doing. They're like, no. I'm just saying, you're looking a little thin. I'm typically used to you looking a certain way. What?
Then go ahead, bud.
Yeah, okay. The hair problem. I know what you're going to go with. I fixed the hair. Okay. We got to the face. It was 1 week.
Wasn't even thinking about it.
You were thinking about it. Anyways, so they were just like, "Hey, I'm not used to seeing you like that. You look slimmer from your face to your clothes look a little big on you." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm having a lot of stuff going on in my life." And so, and again, it goes back to those expectations that other people have on us, right? And so when I heard it the first time, I started off up here. I'm like, "Oh my God," like, now I feel even more bad about myself because I'm trying to maintain myself physically. I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to take care of myself. And it's starting to visibly show, like the weight of stuff is starting to weigh down on me.
Okay, so was losing weight to this point not in your
Not in my favor. No.
not in your plan as far as your PT for your
It
other
was,
stuff?
yeah, no, it wasn't. It was not. And I knew I lost a lot of weight within like a week period of time. And so I was immediately self-conscious about myself. Self-conscious. Yeah. But I was immediately self-conscious about that. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I guess I got to get my life back together. That's another thing that I have to worry about is my clothes fitting big and I'm losing weight and, I'm not eating right and I'm losing energy and I'm not sleeping correctly. So all those stuff, it starts to weigh on you. And it's like, all right, cool. I guess I'm going to keep trucking along. But stuff like that's stuff that I'm talking about is these expectations we have of ourselves. And sometimes they're really unrealistic.
Did you come to see it as that person eventually? Is that person checking up on you?
Yeah. And that's what it was. Yeah. That person was checking up on me and they're like, "I'm just trying to make sure you're okay." And I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm a little stressed out. I'm a little triggered, but yeah, no, we're good.
But so what that is really it's like a buddy check, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's just saying, "Hey, look, I'm noticing this difference."
Yeah.
It's a difference that you weren't noticing in yourself.
Yeah.
So it gives you the opportunity to reassess and hey, maybe I gotta juggle a couple other things a little differently.
Yeah. I'm a little defensive about it because
You're a lot of defensive about it.
you kind of roast me and you have verbally abused me over the last 10 plus years. So naturally, I'm defensive. Thank you for that, Bart. It's another thing that I'll talk to my therapist about later.
They don't.
Probably not. But, you know, it's things like that that I want to like address, you know? And I know, again, it doesn't have to be that particular scenario, but like what other things do people have these standards on us as men, right? Because society is going to have their own standards on men. A man should be this, a man should be that. In today's society, and I think you have different standards of men, right? Like people that I grew up with in your own culture, right? The man is the head of the household. He works, he does this, he does that, you know, and in different cultures and in different times now, it's it's a mixture of things. So whatever you grew up understanding of what your traditional values are and those standards are, we as men sometimes short sell ourselves.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And so it's like, hey man, you're doing the best you can. That's all anybody can ask for. And we're seeing that you're doing the best that you can. It's okay. I'm here with you, doing the buddy check, and we're continuing on. We're, you know, we keep pushing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to do that. You gotta check on your friends. You gotta check on your buddies. Ultimately, though, all those pressures that society puts on you as a person,
Mhm.
I think they only matter to the extent that they matter to you and those around you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've heard the expression, don't take advice from anybody you wouldn't take criticism from.
Mhm.
Don't take criticism from anybody you wouldn't take advice from. It's the same. Like, so if you don't value their advice, if you don't think they're giving you good advice, don't worry about them when they're criticizing you.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to have that filter on, and there's always going to be chatter out there, right? You know, people saying you're not good enough, you're not, you know, performing like you should, you're not taking care of things the way you should. That only matters if you place value in their opinion.
I think it matters to a certain point when, you know, when it is factual, when it is 100% true. Like, let's say, hey, man, I typically perform at this level. And here recently, I know I haven't been performing at that. And then
Sure.
when somebody kind of calls you out on it or does a buddy check, you get defensive. You're like, well, what are you trying to say? Or what's going on? What do you mean? You know, now you're like, now I got to work even harder to get back to that point where I was once at, where my typical standard is at.
Yeah.
But again, going back to unrealistic expectations of ourselves is, yes, you've performed at this level before, but how long can you do that and it be healthy? Whether it be physically healthy for you or mentally healthy for you. Like, how long can you maintain this, right? Are you performing at this level and that's your peak level and you're trying to run yourself into the ground? Because ultimately you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out, whether it's physically or mentally.
Well, that's where you see people with unhealthy coping mechanisms, you know. They'll start dabbling in drugs so they can stay awake longer, study longer, take steroids so they can lift more, or, you know, drink so they can be more socially compatible.
Right.
You know, do compulsions, things that aren't healthy ways to cope with things. There's only so much stuff that the human brain has to handle at a particular time.
Right.
And when all that stuff feels like it's getting piled on you, you gotta eat the elephant, so to speak. You gotta take one bite at a time, handle one thing at a time, and knock those things out. Some things may give in the process, but it doesn't mean that you can't overall improve yourself.
What do you think that it takes a certain individual to actually get to that point where you're like, okay, hold on, wait, pump the brakes. Let me take a step back and reevaluate.
It's hard, man. A lot of guys think that they can juggle all of that stuff. You know, it's tough. You have to have that realization that I don't have time for some of this stuff, and now triage things. You gotta make priorities.
Yeah.
You know, what can I spend time on here, knowing that that's going to cost time for something else. You can always you get almost as much of any resource you ever want in this world except time. Time will always move.
Right.
So you have a limited amount of time. So what can you do with your time to be productive, still give you, and time, you need to factor rest in for that.
Mhm.
You need to dedicate time for yourself to rest, recover, and get your head back about you, right?
Yeah.
So I think it does take. I think a lot of guys will fall further than they expect to before they realize that they need to start prioritizing things.
Yeah. And sometimes, again, it does come from an outside force, right?
Mhm.
Like even as a new dad, with my oldest, I was at work. My mind wasn't in it. We had an old shift partner who pulled me aside and was like, "Hey, you're gonna tell the CEO, or I'm gonna tell that person because you're not where you need to be. You're gonna hurt me. You're gonna hurt yourself, or a mistake's gonna happen that we can't undo." Right? And sometimes you need that outside force or that outside person to hold you accountable. Um, and again, that's kind of what this whole podcast is about, right? We're not here to call people out. We're not here to
No.
say, "Hey, you're doing this wrong or you're doing that wrong." But it's like, "Hey, bro, y- we're in the same freaking boat." You know, like I've been there, done that, and you gotta take a moment, relax, catch your breath, refocus, and then you can re-engage.
Yeah. And there's another side to it, right? Like,
Yeah,
you may be dealing with a bunch of stuff now, but it gets better. Like,
100%. Yeah, it's
you get through that.
I like to look at it as the Band-Aid effect, right?
Mhm.
If you're about to pull that Band-Aid off and you're like, "Oh man, this thing's been on here for a minute. It's gonna suck when I rip it off real quick." Once you rip it off and you get past it, you're like, "Oh, that's it." Instant relief. "Oh, I was scared about that." Right? Like it's the Band-Aid effect. That's what I call it. But yeah, once you get to that point, I think you realize, okay, on the other side of that, it's gonna be better.
Yeah, it's tough to make that lifestyle change
Mhm.
to get. You have to address the bad,
Mhm.
find out what's bad, and you have to come to terms with that. All right, now the good starts because now I get to start planning on how to take down this
Yeah.
demon I got. Right?
Yeah. I mean, how many times have you had that conversation?
Yeah.
How many times have we've I mean, more than I can count, which I'm very grateful for. But how many times have you like, "Hey, dude, stop. Look at what you said and how you said it, and let's go from there. Like you did this wrong." And I think a lot of guys they get stuck in their ways and they don't ever have a friend like that or a family member like that to say, "Hey, bro, let's relax. It's gonna be okay." Because no guy wants to hear you're wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
Everybody's got an ego.
that's a sure way to piss your buddy off.
Yeah.
"Hey, dude, you're wrong." Right? So you have to go about it tactfully. You have to be able to be, kind of the psychology. "Hey, man, I got this idea, but I'm gonna make it your idea,
Mhm.
and you're gonna love it."
Well, and a lot of times when we have troubles, uh, we project. We'll cast blame on other things that
I've
may
never
or may
projected.
not have to do with the problem at hand,
I've never projected.
and that keeps us from seeing other perspectives. So having somebody that says, "Look, man, this may be what that other person's thinking of. This is what it looks like from the outside, because it may be a perspective that you're not seeing in yourself."
Yeah.
And so that helps just to kind of go about, "Hey, man, look, this is a problem that you're dealing with. I'm seeing it this way. I know you're seeing it a different way, but maybe there's a different way to go about it because
Yeah.
you might cause yourself more trouble
Yeah.
by not being able to be open to other end of you."
With that being said, at what point you're like, "Hey, my buddy's not gonna listen to me. I'm gonna just let him put his own plan into action and let it backfire." Do you
No,
think that sometimes that's needed?
Sure. Sure. You know,
Coming from
you
the most
always
selfish
want to
person
take
who-
care of your bud, right?
Yeah.
And but I would imagine be the same way with the kids. There's only so many times you can tell them not to put their hand on the stove, right?
Right.
Eventually, they're going to do it,
Yeah. It's hot. No kidding.
and you know what? They're never ever going to do it again
Right.
because yes, it hurt them that once. All the telling in the world, they didn't get it.
Yeah.
They learned it for themselves,
Yeah.
and that forever changed them.
Right.
Don't let your kids touch those.
Disclaimer. Yeah. Do not.
That's how I learned. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I was that idiot kid. I put my hand on this stuff, and you know what? I ain't got to worry about that no more.
No. Um, Yeah, I mean, it's I think to a certain extent, yeah, we do have to let our buddies sometimes learn the hard way, right? I mean, most stubborn person ever, hard-headed,
Yeah.
right? I mean, um, yeah, I could probably pass out from exhaustion versus taking help from somebody sometime because I need to be the one to do it, right? Like I got to be the one hands-on sometimes, and that's a red flag for me. I know it, I recognize it, I'm working on it, which is why I
Yeah,
have a
but
book.
that's a different learning process for you, right?
Yeah,
Like you do understand, you do seek help from a lot of people. I always find out that I'm not the only person you talk to about certain things. You have a circle of folks that you consult with.
right, right,
That's
right.
good. You get different perspectives,
Yeah,
and you'll get all those perspectives, and then you'll still do it your way.
I think you should do it this way. Nah, I don't think that's a good idea. You're not hearing me, you know? Yeah, your idea sounds smart, but mine sounds cooler.
Then about a week later, we hear you say, "Hey, man, you were right, or so and so was right."
Man, what'd you do? I put my hand on the stove. Yeah,
But you get that perspective. Now you know from those different perspectives how or why something worked the way it did.
yeah,
Yeah, to an extent, some guys have to learn on their own.
yeah. I mean, we talked about it a couple weeks ago, right? What did I say? Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah.
And it's like, I was giving advice to somebody, and hey, man, I'm a hard charger. No, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna, enforce the rules, and we're gonna hold everybody to this standard. I was like, well, hold on, wait. Do you really want to die on that hill? Do you really want to win that battle that bad? And your response was,
You did the exact same thing.
yeah,
The exact same.
yeah. And I was like, yeah, but I'm mature now. I'm mature. I have learned. I have experience because I died on that hill. Yeah, I'm going to win that battle. But was it worth it? In the moment, 10, 12
It
years
seemed
ago,
like it at the time.
it seemed like a really good idea at the time. And looking back on it, it's like my back still hurts from that. Like I don't think that was the best idea. All right, but sometimes you do have to learn those hard
Yeah,
ways.
and we're both about midway in our careers in law enforcement. So we're veterans. We've been here for a while. We still got a lot of folks that have been here for longer than us.
We're officially the old guys in the class.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Yeah, so we're approaching that upper age. So we still know what it was like when we were young in beginning our careers,
Mm-hmm.
how the old hands said that they did stuff.
Yeah. Back in my day,
Giving us advice
Yeah.
and
you're stupid, man.
all that.
Yeah.
And now we're having those click moments where we're seeing these new guys on patrol and we're complaining about a lot of the same stuff that I'm sure the old heads.
They're laughing.
Yeah.
They're laughing about.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going to hear this, admit it now because they're old and they don't have technology. Yeah. They're not going to, what's a podcast? But yeah, no. Yeah. It's crazy how times change, and it's crazy how you have a front row seat to a lot of these things. Right.
Mhm.
And to be able to see now, hey, would I have done it differently 12 years ago? Yeah, you're going to have those juniors who are like, that's a stupid idea, man. I'm going to do it my way because my way seems cooler. You're going to have those Barts, and you're like, that seems logical, and I should probably do what he says because he's been there, done that, and he's a little bit smarter than me. All right.
And different information processes. Some guys have to be that crash test on it. They gotta know, they gotta see it for themselves.
My name's Junior, and I'm the crash test dummy.
Yeah.
That's.
And other
But
folks,
it makes for really cool stories.
sure. Sure.
My hand still hurts from the cold weather. But yeah, no, it's cool to see that stuff. And I think now we're both in a position of our lives where, and even myself, if I've experienced things where I kind of want to push that information out.
Yeah.
Right. To other men, to younger men. And I also want to seek out the older guys in whatever they have done. Right. And say, hey, can I bring this back to y'all?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of where everything, it came for me. And then this was a great opportunity to do that. And, like I said, it was originally an idea between me and my uncle. And it just kind of just kind of boiled on the stove. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens. And life happens. He passed away recently, a couple months ago, and a lot of stuff started to click for me. And it was like, okay, well, do I let this idea die with me, or do I actually do something about it?
I think that's a great way to keep those conversations alive.
Yeah, and so I was like, all right, cool. Even attending his funeral, you had different peoples from different walks of life, from military to bikers to first responders to church members, and then of course your family. But you had all these different people who had the same message. And he affected me in this way, and this positive change. And there was never a time where he wouldn't stop to say, "Hey, let me go check on my battle buddy. Hey, let me go do this. Let me go do that." And he stayed in connect with all these people, and you're just like, man, look at the positive effect that he had on all these people, right? There was not a time where I couldn't call him and say, "Hey, man, I'm doing bad," right? Like, this is what's going on. This is what's up. Okay, so we've addressed the problem. Now, how are we going to move forward, right? What do we need to do next? And that's kind of where a lot of this stuff came from. And I wanted to make sure to push that message out, and I wanted to make sure to kind of honor his memory and continuing some of the stuff that we had talked about, but not letting those conversations die.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
he and I, and moving it forward and vocalizing it and putting it out there.
I think that's great, man. So you got to keep it going. You got to keep that. Not necessarily advice, you don't want to preach to nobody, but
Right.
but it's a way of sharing your experience. And if I have the opportunity to tell somebody about a pitfall that I've had so that they can avoid that pitfall, that's great.
Yeah.
If they hear it and then still run into the same pitfall, if they learn from that, and then they learn from that. But it's a great way to get that conversation started.
Yeah.
And if anything, help folks get that person that they can do a buddy check on or have a buddy check done now.
Yeah.
Open up your social circle, find another guy friend you can open up to.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the same time, it kind of started out with a guy thing, but even, maybe a spouse, a girlfriend, somebody who hears or sees the message and is like, okay, maybe I'll understand him.
Yeah.
Right. Or maybe, you're a son and you're like, oh, hey, my dad's going through this, or you're a daughter and you're like, hey, my dad's going through this, and they can relate to that and they can understand their parents better, whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. We've done our job.
Because it is another social contract that guys talk to guys in a different manner than they talk to ladies.
100%.
We just do. We carry ourselves a little bit differently. We'll talk to them different, especially the ladies in our close circles.
You and I have said by far the most diabolical things to one another.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's
yeah. We say some of the most diabolical things to one another. But I think every guy needs that other guy, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have that friendship with another guy, I think that's
right.
I think there's something else that we need to talk about, because guys can relate, guys can converse, and they can, at the end of it, be guy friends of the day. We know we're not taking it personal. And I know that, hey, if I do have something that I want to talk to you about that's important to me, I'm going to have your full undivided attention.
Sure.
So it's that decompressing, it's that, that trauma bonding and whatever else you want to call it. But I think guys do need that. And again, that's what this whole freaking page and the podcast and the whole movement is about. And I am glad I'm able to kind of put this out there now. I'm able to get this information out there, but I'm also very glad that I got to share this very first episode with you.
I'm honored that you picked him to be on the show.
We've been through a lot, and you've seen a lot of personal stuff and vice versa. And you've been there in by far some of the most difficult times of my life. And for that, I am forever grateful, my friend. I love you like a brother. And there's nothing that I wouldn't do for you or your family. So, dude, I appreciate you.
Likewise, dude.
I appreciate you. Absolutely. So that's it. that is our show. We are in a transition period where we're going around talking to different guys, and we don't have an official room yet. And we're making our way there. But in the meantime, I'm gonna hang out with some cool guys. You're gonna see some of their cool stuff and their cool rooms. And yeah, thank you guys for the first episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love you guys and hope to have many more.